Ben Torres stepped off the transport ship and felt his breath catch in his throat. The Zephyrian capital city stretched before him like something from a dream. Towers of pure crystal reached toward purple skies, their surfaces shifting with waves of soft light. Floating platforms carried beings of pure energy between the structures, leaving trails of sparkles in the air. "Stay close to the path," warned Captain Rosa Martinez, the mission leader. "The Zephyrians are peaceful, but they don't understand human curiosity very well." Ben nodded, adjusting his translator device. He was the youngest member of Earth's first diplomatic mission to the Zephyrian Empire. While the others focused on trade agreements and technology exchanges, Ben's job was cultural research. He was supposed to learn about Zephyrian society and customs. The delegation walked along a path made of something that looked like glass, but felt soft under their feet. Zephyrian citizens watched them pass. These beings appeared almost human in shape, but their bodies seemed to be made of flowing energy contained in translucent forms. Their faces were beautiful but empty of expression. "They seem so serious," Ben whispered to Dr. Sarah Kim, the team's scientist. "Ancient records suggest they used to be more lively," she replied quietly. "Something changed about 1,000 years ago. Their birth rates dropped. Their art became mathematical rather than creative. Nobody knows why." They reached the palace gates, which opened without sound. Inside, the walls pulsed with gentle rhythms of light. Ben found himself walking slower, trying to take in every detail. The patterns in the light seemed to tell stories, though he couldn't understand what they meant. A figure approached them, taller than the others and radiating a soft golden glow. This had to be Queen Vara. She moved with grace that reminded Ben of water flowing over stones. "Welcome, beings of Earth," Queen Vara said. Her voice came through their translators as musical tones. "We are honored by your presence in our domain." Captain Martinez stepped forward and began the formal greetings they had practiced. Ben listened with half his attention while the other half wandered around the throne room. The ceiling showed what looked like a map of the galaxy, with points of light marking different star systems. Earth appeared as a tiny blue dot near the edge. "Your world is small but bright," came a voice beside him. Ben turned to find Queen Vara standing next to him. Up close, her energy form was even more fascinating. Patterns flowed beneath her translucent skin like rivers of light. "It's beautiful from space," Ben said, "but I think your world is amazing. These crystals, the floating platforms, the way light moves through everything. How do you build with energy?" Queen Vara tilted her head. "Build? We do not build. We shape. We guide energy into forms that serve our needs. It is simply logical arrangement of forces." "But it's so beautiful," Ben said. "Doesn't the beauty matter too?" For a moment, something flickered in Queen Vara's expression. Then it was gone. "Beauty is a secondary consideration to function," she said. The formal meeting continued for several hours. The Zephyrians offered tours of their energy plants and computational centers. They shared technical data about their dimensional travel methods. Everything was precise, efficient, and utterly without emotion. That evening, the humans were invited to attend a cultural ceremony. They sat in a great amphitheater as Zephyrian performers took the stage. The performance was unlike anything Ben had ever seen. Beings of light danced through three-dimensional space, their forms creating complex mathematical patterns. Music played that followed perfect mathematical progressions. "It's technically perfect," Dr. Kim whispered. Ben watched the faces of the Zephyrian audience. They observed the performance with the same expressions they might use to watch a scientific demonstration. There was appreciation for the technical skill, but no joy, no wonder, no emotional response at all. Then came a moment that changed everything. One of the performers made a small mistake, causing the light pattern to create an unexpected spiral. Instead of being horrified, Ben found it delightful. The spiral reminded him of a child's drawing or the way cream swirls in coffee. He started to chuckle. The sound was so foreign in the silent amphitheater that every Zephyrian head turned toward him. Ben tried to stop, but the situation struck him as even funnier. Here he was, the only being in a theater full of energy creatures who found joy in an accidental spiral. His laughter grew louder and more infectious. Captain Martinez tried to quiet him, but Dr. Kim started giggling too. Soon the entire human delegation was laughing together. Something extraordinary happened then. The Zephyrian who had made the mistake began to glow brighter. Then another Zephyrian near the front started making a sound Ben had never heard before. It took him a moment to realize it was laughter. The sound spread through the audience like ripples on a pond. Within minutes, the entire amphitheater was filled with the first spontaneous laughter heard in the Zephyrian capital for centuries. Queen Vera stared at Ben with an expression of complete amazement. After the ceremony, Queen Vara approached the human delegation. "Ambassador Torres," she said, "I would like to speak with you privately." They walked together through palace gardens where crystalline trees grew in perfect geometric arrangements. The moonlight caught in the crystal branches, creating patterns of rainbow light on the ground. "What happened tonight," Queen Vera began, "has not occurred in my lifetime. Nor in my mother's lifetime, nor her mother's." "The laughter?" Ben asked. "Spontaneous emotional response to unexpected stimuli," she said. "We have forgotten how to find joy in imperfection." Ben looked around the garden. "It's beautiful here, but doesn't it ever feel too controlled? Too perfect?" Queen Vara stopped walking. "Too perfect? I do not understand this concept." "Well," Ben said, searching for words, "on Earth some of our most beautiful things happen by accident. A tree grows crooked because of the wind, and it becomes more interesting than a straight tree. A singer's voice cracks during a sad song and it makes people cry because it feels so real. You find beauty in flaws? We find beauty in life," Ben corrected gently. "And life is messy and imperfect and surprising. That's what makes it wonderful." Queen Vara was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was different, softer somehow. "Our people are dying," she said. "Not from disease or war, but from emptiness. We have optimized everything, controlled every variable, eliminated every inefficiency, and in doing so, we have eliminated the spark that makes existence worthwhile." They sat on a bench made of shaped crystal. Ben could feel warmth radiating from Queen Vera's energy form. "Tell me about your world," she said. "Tell me about imperfection." Ben found himself talking for hours. He told her about thunderstorms that ruined picnics but created beautiful lightning shows. He described how human children learn to walk by falling down over and over, until they finally succeed. He explained how human art often came from pain or confusion, and how their greatest discoveries sometimes happened by mistake. Queen Vara listened to every word with growing fascination. "Your species thrives on chaos," she observed. "Not chaos exactly," Ben said. "We thrive on possibility, on not knowing exactly what will happen next. On hope." "Hope," Queen Vara repeated the word slowly. "We have eliminated hope by eliminating uncertainty. But uncertainty is where the good stuff lives," Ben said. "Love, discovery, growth, laughter. All the best things in life come from taking chances." Over the following days, Queen Vara arranged for more private conversations. She showed Ben through parts of the palace that other humans had not seen. Ancient halls where Zephyrian art from before their cultural change was preserved. The older works were wild and emotional and full of imperfection. They told stories of Zephyrian lovers and adventurers and dreamers. "This is who we used to be," Queen Vara said, showing him a sculpture that seemed to dance with inner light. "Before we decided that efficiency was more important than beauty, what changed?" Ben asked. "A war," she said. "A terrible war with beings from another dimension. Emotion made us weak, we thought. Unpredictable. So we trained ourselves to think only logically. We won the war, but we lost ourselves." Ben studied the ancient artwork. "Your people created amazing things when they let themselves feel." "Yes," Queen Vara said quietly. "And now we create nothing. We maintain, we organize, we optimize, but we do not create." Ben turned to look at her. In the light of the ancient art, her energy form seemed different. "More alive somehow. It doesn't have to stay that way," he said. "How?" she asked. "How do we learn to feel again when we have forgotten how?" Ben thought about this. Maybe you don't learn it. Maybe you remember it. Maybe someone helps you remember. Queen Vera moved closer to him. Her energy form cast rainbow patterns on the walls around them. "Your people," she said, "you carry that spark we have lost. When you laugh, when you marvel at our crystal cities, when you find beauty in our mistakes, you remember what we have forgotten." They walked together to a garden Ben had not seen before. This one was different from the others. The crystal plants here grew in organic curves rather than geometric patterns. Flowers of pure light bloomed in random clusters. It was beautiful in a wild, uncontrolled way. "I tend this garden in secret," Queen Vara admitted. "It is not efficient. It serves no logical purpose, but it brings me something I cannot name. Joy," Ben said simply. It brings you joy. Queen Vara turned to face him fully. Her energy form brightened, and Ben could see something in her expression that had not been there before. Something vulnerable and hopeful and very much alive. Ben Torres of Earth, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I have a question that may seem strange to you. I'm listening, Ben said. Queen Vara moved closer. In the garden of wild crystal flowers, surrounded by the soft light of alien stars, she leaned toward him. Tell me, human, she said softly. Would you marry me? Ben stared at her, his mind reeling. I'm sorry, what? My people are dying because we have forgotten how to live, Queen Vara continued. You and your species remember what we have lost. A union between us might save both our worlds. You could help us remember how to feel, how to hope, how to find joy in imperfection. And we could share with humanity the knowledge we have gained in our long existence. Ben's heart was racing. You're talking about more than just marriage. You're talking about joining our species together. Yes, Queen Vara said. A bond that could restore life to my people and lift yours to the stars. But only if you choose it freely, without pressure or obligation. Ben looked around the secret garden, at the wild crystal flowers blooming in beautiful chaos. He thought about the laughter that had filled the amphitheater, about the spark of joy he had seen in Queen Vara's eyes when she looked at the ancient art. This is a lot to think about, he said finally. Of course, Queen Vara replied. Take all the time you need. But know this, Ben Torres. In all my centuries of existence, I have never felt what I felt when you laughed at that imperfect spiral. For the first time in my life, I understood what it meant to be truly alive. As they stood together in the garden, Ben realized that this moment would change everything, not just for him but for both their species. The question was whether he was brave enough to take the greatest chance of his life. Ben barely slept that night. He lay in his guest quarters staring at the crystal ceiling, as patterns of light moved across it like slow-motion fireworks. Queen Vara's proposal echoed in his mind, marriage to an alien queen, a union between two species, the chance to save an entire civilization, but also the weight of representing all of humanity in the most important decision anyone had ever made. The next morning, Captain Martinez called an emergency meeting in their secure conference room. Ben, we need to talk, she said as soon as he walked in. Queen Vara's people contacted us this morning. They want to discuss your conversation with her. Dr. Kim looked concerned. What exactly did you two talk about in that garden? Ben took a deep breath and told them everything. The secret garden, Queen Vara's explanation about their dying culture, and her proposal. When he finished, the room was completely silent. She wants to marry you, Captain Martinez said slowly. She wants to save her people, Ben corrected. And she thinks a union between our species might do that. This is incredible, Dr. Kim said, her scientific mind already racing. Think about what we could learn from them. Their energy manipulation, their dimensional travel technology, their mathematical understanding of the universe. Think about what we could lose, Captain Martinez countered. This isn't just about Ben anymore. This decision could affect all of humanity. What if it goes wrong? What if they want to change us into something we're not? Ben understood both perspectives. The opportunity was amazing, but so were the risks. I need to talk to more of their people, he said. I need to understand what this would really mean. That afternoon, Queen Vara arranged for Ben to meet with the Zephyrian High Council. The council chamber was a vast dome filled with floating platforms where council members sat in circles of light. When Ben entered, the atmosphere felt tense. Human Ben Torres, announced Council Leader Zix, his energy form pulsing with formal blue light. We understand Queen Vara has made you an unusual proposal. Yes, sir, Ben replied, feeling very small in the enormous chamber. This proposal has created significant debate among our people, Zix continued. Some believe that your species' emotional instability could be dangerous to our carefully ordered society. Another council member, her form glowing red with what Ben was learning to recognize as agitation, spoke up. Our ancestors nearly destroyed themselves with emotional chaos. We achieved peace and order by eliminating such unpredictability. Ben felt his heart sinking. Maybe this was a terrible idea after all. But then a younger council member spoke. Yet we are dying, he said. Our birth rates continue to fall. Our people go through the motions of life without truly living. Perhaps some chaos is better than slow extinction. The human made our people laugh, added another member. Something we had not experienced in generations. The debate continued for hours. Ben listened as the Zephyrians argued about risk versus reward, about the value of emotion versus the safety of logic. He realized they were having the same argument his own people would have. Finally, Council Leader Zix turned to Ben directly. "Human, what do you say to our concerns? How do we know your people will not bring destruction to our ordered world?" Ben stood up, his legs shaking slightly. "I can't promise there won't be problems," he said. "Humans make mistakes. We get angry, we disagree, we sometimes do foolish things. But we also love, we hope, we create, we grow. We don't want to destroy your order. We want to help you find balance." "Balance?" asked the red glowing council member. "Logic and emotion working together," Ben explained. "On Earth, our greatest achievements come when we combine careful thinking with passionate inspiration. Scientists who love their work make better discoveries. Artists who understand structure create more beautiful art. Maybe your people could have both order and feeling." Queen Vara, who had remained silent during the debate, finally spoke. "I propose a trial period," she said. "Let the human stay among us for one lunar cycle. Let us observe how his presence affects our society. Let us learn from each other before making any permanent decisions." The council agreed to this compromise. Over the following weeks, Ben lived among the Zephyrians as both student and teacher. He learned about their energy manipulation techniques while sharing human concepts about creativity and emotional expression. The results were fascinating. Zephyrian engineers who learned to trust their intuition alongside their calculations began designing more elegant solutions. Artists who allowed themselves to feel began creating works that moved both Zephyrians and humans to tears. Even the rigid work schedules became more flexible when managers realized that tired, unhappy workers were less productive than rested, content ones. But not everyone was pleased with the changes. "This is exactly what we feared," Councilmember Zix told Queen Vera during a private meeting Ben accidentally overheard. "Order is breaking down. Work efficiency has decreased. Our people are becoming unpredictable." "They are becoming alive," Queen Vera replied firmly. "And what happens when they become too alive? When emotion overrides logic completely. We will repeat the mistakes that nearly destroyed us." Ben realized he needed to prove that humans and Zephyrians could work together without losing control, but he wasn't sure how. The opportunity came sooner than expected, and from an unexpected source. A cosmic storm appeared at the edge of the Zephyrian system, moving toward both their homeworld and Earth. These storms were rare but devastating, capable of disrupting energy patterns and dimensional travel for decades. "Our calculations show no possible solution," reported the Zephyrian science team. "The storm is too large and too powerful." "We must evacuate both worlds." "Evacuate to where?" Ben asked. "This storm covers half the sector. The humans and Zephyrians worked frantically for days, but every mathematical model showed the same result. The storm could not be stopped or redirected. Two civilizations faced destruction." Ben found himself in Queen Vera's garden again, staring at the wild crystal flowers while his mind raced. There had to be something they weren't seeing. Some solution that pure logic couldn't find. "What if we're thinking about this wrong?" he said suddenly. Queen Vera looked up from where she was tending a particularly chaotic cluster of light flowers. "What do you mean?" "Your people keep trying to calculate a way to stop the storm or redirect it. But what if we don't fight it? What if we work with it? Work with a cosmic storm?" Ben's excitement grew as the idea developed. On Earth, surfers ride ocean waves instead of fighting them. What if we could ride the storm's energy instead of opposing it? That is, Queen Vera paused, completely illogical and possibly brilliant. They rushed to the Science Center, where Ben presented his idea to the combined human and Zephyrian research teams. Instead of fighting the storm, they could use its immense energy to power a dimensional shield around both worlds. "The calculations are impossibly complex," said Dr. Kim after reviewing the proposal. "The timing would have to be perfect, and there are too many variables. But," added the Zephyrian lead scientist, "if it worked, it would save billions of lives." The plan required something neither species had ever attempted. The Zephyrians would need to trust human intuition about energy flow and timing. The humans would need to trust Zephyrian mathematical precision and dimensional manipulation. Both groups would have to work together with perfect coordination. "This is madness," Council Leader Zix declared when they presented the plan. "This is hope," Queen Vara replied. The next few days were a blur of preparation. Human teams worked alongside Zephyrian engineers, combining emotional insight with logical precision. Ben found himself at the center of it all, translating between human intuition and Zephyrian mathematics. When the storm arrived, both species held their breath. The plan required split-second timing and absolute trust between the teams. Ben watched human operators making gut-feeling adjustments while Zephyrian computers calculated probabilities in real time. At the crucial moment, Ben felt something he had never experienced before. A connection not just with Queen Vera, but with every being working on the project. Human emotions and Zephyrian logic flowed together like rivers joining to form a great ocean of shared purpose. The dimensional shield activated just as the storm's leading edge reached their worlds. For a terrifying moment, it seemed like the plan might fail. The shield flickered and wavered under the storm's massive power. Then the energy flow stabilized. Instead of fighting the storm, they were riding it, using its own power to protect themselves. Both Earth and the Zephyrian homeworld disappeared behind shimmering barriers of redirected cosmic energy. The storm passed harmlessly around them, its destructive power transformed into protective shields that would last for decades. When it was over, both species erupted in celebration. Humans and Zephyrians embraced, their joy transcending the barriers between physical and energy beings. "We did it," Ben said to Queen Vera as they watched the celebrations from her garden. "We did indeed," she replied. "But more than that, we proved something important. We proved that our species are stronger together than apart." Ben turned to face her, his decision finally clear. "Queen Vera," he said formally, "I accept your proposal. You will marry me? I will marry you, and I will help our peoples learn to live together, not as one species dominating another, but as partners helping each other grow." Their wedding ceremony took place in the great amphitheater where Ben had first heard Zephyrian laughter. Representatives from both worlds attended, watching as a human and an energy being pledged to share their lives and their futures. But the real celebration came afterward, as children from both species played together in Queen Vera's once secret garden. Human kids ran between crystal trees while young Zephyrians changed the colors of the light flowers to match their moods. Laughter echoed through halls that had been silent for centuries. Ben and Queen Vera stood watching, hand in hand in a way that should have been impossible between a physical being and an energy form, but somehow worked perfectly. "Look at them," Queen Vera said softly. "They don't see differences between human and Zephyrian. They just see friends to play with." "Maybe that's the secret," Ben replied. "Maybe growing up together they'll find balances we never imagined." 6 months later, the first Zephyrian-human joint research station was established in orbit between their worlds. Scientists from both species worked side by side, making discoveries that neither could have achieved alone. Artists collaborated on works that combined human emotional depth with Zephyrian technical mastery. The Zephyrian birth rate began to climb for the first time in 1,000 years. Human technology advanced by centuries in mere months, but more importantly, both species had found something they hadn't known they were missing. They had found each other. Ben still served as cultural ambassador, but now he had help. Queen Vera learned to understand human emotions not just intellectually, but experientially. She became the bridge between Zephyrian logic and human feeling. On quiet evenings, they would walk through gardens where crystal trees grew in wild, beautiful patterns, where logic and chaos danced together in perfect imperfection, where two species that had seemed completely different discovered they were not so different after all. Both needed the other to become complete. Humans provided the spark of life and possibility that Zephyrians had lost. Zephyrians offered the knowledge and perspective that humans needed to reach their full potential. Together, they began to explore not just the galaxy, but the infinite possibilities that opened when different kinds of intelligence worked as one. The cosmic storm that had threatened to destroy them became the force that united them. And in learning to ride that storm together, they discovered something more valuable than any technology or knowledge. They discovered that the greatest adventures come not from conquering the unknown, but from embracing it with someone who helps you see the universe through entirely new eyes.